Hey guys, thank you for watching my first ever YouTube video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and more content will follow in the near future. I'm sorry if I sometimes stutter a bit or mispronounce words. This is because English is not my native language and it's been a while since I spoke it for the last time, so please bear with me. And if you have any tips or suggestions, please leave them in the comments, and then I can learn from them. So thank you in advance. In this video I'd like to start with introducing myself, telling you a bit more about me and my diagnosis, and tell you why I started this channel and what I would like to achieve with it, or hope to achieve with it. Also, a small disclaimer, I'm not a mental health care professional. Everything I tell you on this channel and in my videos is learned through my own experience and my own reading. So hi, I'm Yvette. I'm currently 31 years old. I live in a small city in the west of the Netherlands. I live on my own with my dog called Rocco. He's an American pocket bully. He's just turned 3, and he's living with me for about 2 weeks now. Currently I've got 2 diagnoses. The first one I got when I was about 25 years old, and it is called fibromyalgia. It's a terrible word to pronounce. Fibromyalgia. It's a really difficult word for chronic pain and some other symptoms, but it's quite a long story to explain what it is exactly. But the chronic pain part is the part I struggle with the most in my daily life. I was about 29 when I got my second diagnosis, and this diagnosis is called ASD. It's autism spectrum disorder. Also, fun fact, in Holland the abbreviation is ASS. So I can say in Holland I've got ass. So fun fact to know. I was 29 when I was diagnosed with autism. That's kind of late in life, but it's quite common for women to be diagnosed later in life, because a lot of women know how to mask their symptoms and learn from a really young age to mask their symptoms and what is socially accepted in their behavior and in their way of communicating with other people, like for instance making eye contact. And people with autism can really struggle with making eye contact with another person, because it's really intimate to look somebody in the eye, and it's really unsettling and not very pleasant. I noticed during filming this, I try to look every way but straight in the camera. I really need to focus and tell myself, look straight in the camera, Yvette, just straight in the camera, because else it's not socially accepted to not look at the person you're speaking to, and the camera is, for now, for me, the person I'm speaking to. So it feels really intense to just keep staring in the camera, and I really need to remind myself, okay, look at the camera, don't look at a cheat sheet, don't look at the dog, don't look at the cars driving by the window, just keep looking at the camera. So that's one of a really long array of possible symptoms and things you could see in a person with autism spectrum disorder. I was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder because I went to my GP because I wasn't doing very well. I felt really tired. I was on the verge of a burnout, and it wasn't going well with me. I was feeling really faint, really tired, couldn't concentrate, couldn't keep up with my social contacts. Couldn't go to my sports, like I danced, I rode horse, and all that was too much to bear. There wasn't enough time in a day to do the things I thought I really needed to do. I made myself do, and it was too much. So I went to my GP and told him all my troubles, like not concentrating and feeling really tired and stuff like that. So that's when I started with the mental health care process. And after a while, I met my psychologist, and the first diagnosis I got was I don't know how you say it in English, but it was like a depression disorder. Not really depression, but another name for it. I will look it up later and tell you guys afterwards what it was, but doesn't really add to the story. But my psychiatrist asked me in the first meeting we had, when the first appointment we had, if I was okay with being tested for autism, because I reminded her of some other patients who are also women with autism. And I thought autism was a possible fitting diagnosis for me, so I went with it. And after a while, I got the results from the tests, and they really said I had autism spectrum disorder. And for me, it was kind of a relief hearing the diagnosis, because now I finally had an explanation for me always feeling different than everybody else. Ever since I was a child, I felt different than my classmate. I felt different than my peers. I noticed I thought different, or reacted sometimes in a different manner. And also noticed my brain was more logical thinking than a lot of other girls or women. So for me, it was like finally getting the explanation why I was different, and why my brain worked in a certain way, and why I struggled with some things in life, and with other parts I didn't. And also it was funny, because my autism is probably the reason why I chose my form of education, because I studied applied mathematics, so a lot of numbers, a lot of logic, a lot of routine, a lot of precision work, and all those things are really good contributes for a lot of people with autism spectrum disorder. I really need to find a word to shorten it for this movie, but I will think of one. In my search for information about autism in women, I missed a lot of information, because a lot of the information you find on YouTube or in podcasts is made by men, is made for men, is made about men, and there's not a lot of information about women with autism. And autism in women or autism in men has a lot of different ways of showing, a lot of different ways of affecting the person. And that's also a big part of why I started this channel. Another big part of starting this channel is for me to learn more about myself, to try and figure out which part of my behavior and part of me is the autism part, and which part of me is the real Yvette part. In the last 2 years since my diagnosis, I learned already a lot about myself, but there's still a lot more to learn. For instance, I'm for the second time in my life, I'm in a burnout. I'm in not that good of a part in my life. I'm really tired, emotional, not really stable right now. A lot of crying. But long story for another video perhaps. But because I'm not feeling well, not have that much energy, I start to show more of my real true behavior instead of the behavior I learned from being a little girl up to now. Because the last 30 years of my life I've learned how people expect me to behave, especially in a social gathering or in a social situation. But now, because I'm so tired, my brain is not able to look for the script how to act in a certain situation, and that's why my pure base instinct reaction is coming to the surface, and it's scary to see how much I'm masking and looking for the real me, and looking for which part of my behavior me is the masked me, is a mask, is keeping up a screen to keep people away or to fulfill the picture and the role society expects of me. That's a really interesting search, and I hope some of you may have benefit by seeing me going through that process, and maybe I can educate some people about autism, or about women with autism, or about how I deal with things. Thinking of that, remember that every person with autism is different, because it's a spectrum. It's not one little small square cube where you can put in everybody, but it's a really big spectrum. It differs from people who are nonverbal and are not able to communicate with a spoken language with other people, to people with autism who have really great jobs, have a really great education, and make a lot of money, are really happy, and are almost not being bothered by the fact that they have autism, and everything in between that. So it's a real spectrum. You can find every color of the rainbow in there, and keep that in mind when somebody tells you they have autism, and maybe ask them which part they struggle with, or which things they like and don't like in communication or interaction or stuff like that. Just start a conversation and ask about it and talk about it and help each other and respect each other for being just you and not being the picture society expects you to be. I think that those are the main reasons I started my channel. So my own search for my true me, my own search for more education about autism in women and autism in general, and maybe hoping that I can help some other women with autism, even if it's just one of you or one person. If I can help that person by sharing my story and sharing my experiences, then my channel is a success. I think I will wrap it up for now for my first video. Maybe it's a little bit messy, and sorry if I cut a lot of pieces and put them together, because making this in one try is really, really hard. I really underestimated it, but I still hope it's a little bit of a success for our first YouTube video. So let me know in the comments, and like my video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my new videos in the near future. So thank you, and see you in my next movie. Bye!